What's up, YouTube? So, we've got a brand new Preacher episode, and it is a series I am absolutely loving. The dude who plays Cassidy, Joe Gilgun, is just the best thing on TV at the moment. He's funny, he's charismatic, and if you haven't seen the show Misfits or This Is England, I highly recommend you go and check those out because he's in the later seasons of Misfits. But definitely go and check that out because you will see Ramsay Snow, now Bolton from Game of Thrones, in there as well as a... Well, I'm not going to give any spoilers. But anyway, so we had a very interesting opening this episode with a cowboy. So, who is that? So I'm going to discuss that and explain who he is at the moment. Okay, so the cowboy doesn't actually have a real name in the comic series. However, he's known really pretty much as the Saint of Killers. And he was one of, apparently, the most vicious soldiers in the Confederate Army. So this is pretty much where his name, or his really moniker, came from, the Saint of Killers, as people were very, very scared of him. And he killed a lot of Native Americans. So you can see his daughter at the start, which is where he is trying to save her and pretty much get her illness solved, pretty much. So in 1881 and around this time, this cowboy pretty much kills every single outlaw in Ratwater after his daughter and his family are ill with the illness that happens. So he then meets the Angel of Death in hell after he's killed, and then his sword, which is the Angel of Death sword, is melted down and turned into Colt 45 guns. And then he is sent to kind of manage our preacher Jesse, and well, lots of things happen like that. Eventually he is asked to kill Jesse because his power, which is known as the Word of God in the comics, is not really one that the forces of heaven wanted to have. So that's pretty much what happens. So we don't know how much they're going to stay true to this in the actual show because there are quite a few things which are different, but we'll have to see. The kind of main story arc for the episode, which featured on a guy who's pretty much having not very good thoughts about someone who is on his bus who is a child, it was very on the nose, and it was interesting to see Jesse have to deal with his kind of, not Hippocratic oath, because that's only for doctors, but his kind of, when he has confessions, he has to pretty much keep it to himself. But, well, you're only forgiven if you are truly repentful. And this guy didn't really seem it. I did like the outcome where it's showing Jesse learning to use his powers and learning to use them for the force of good. So it's a good bit of character development there for him. Now, for a relatively slow episode, I didn't think it was that slow. I thought it was pretty well paced. And we had this really, really cool fight scene in the church just after Cassie pretty much says that The Big Lebowski is overrated and a shite film. Where he's wrong. He's very, very wrong in that. But I did like the kind of reveal of his backstory, that he's an old vampire. And Jesse, I'm not sure if Jesse took that seriously, considering what was going on, or if he was just kind of humouring him that way. But the scenes between Dominic Cooper and Joe Gilgun are just fantastic. And this fight scene in the church was gloriously bloody and very tastefully done. And the gore on the violence in the show really does fit the mood of what's going on. So we see a fair bit of Tulip throughout the episode, with her in the brothel and as well just generally kicking ass and being baptised at the start of the episode. Now, I like the character a lot. She's very funny. It's a very good and strong portrayal of a female character in a comic book show or, well, film as well, you could say, and which is a rare thing, to be honest. But the whole storyline doesn't really seem to be going anywhere. She just seems to keep pestering Jessie to do something or have a score with her, which we're not too sure what it is. And another thing that's interesting is that the fact that the pair who were after Jessie have come back to life. So they have said that they are with the government as well, which is very weird. So I think we're going to see Tulip probably team up and help stop these two, maybe as a story season arc. But anyway, if you enjoyed this episode, drop a like and hit subscribe for similar content like this with Game of Thrones, Outcast, etc. And goodbye.